Conservatives rejoice. You have a new, influential, intellectual ally in your battle to defeat Barack Obama, a Harvard law professor who instructed the young man who would be president. I'm PJTV's Scott Ott, joined now by my colleagues Bill Whittle and Stephen Green. Men, Professor Roberto Unger has published dozens of books on political and economic philosophy and twice ran for president of Brazil. For several decades, he's taught at the Harvard Law School, and he instructed Barack Obama on jurisprudence and reinventing democracy. During the 2008 presidential campaign, he says he frequently advised his old pupil, then candidate Obama. Those were heady days. But listen now to Obama's old mentor.
President Obama must be defeated in the coming election. He has failed to advance the progressive cause in the United States. He has spent trillions of dollars to rescue the moneyed interests and left workers and homeowners to their own devices. He has subordinated the broadening of economic and educational opportunity to the important but secondary issue of access to health care, in the mistaken belief that he would be spared a fight.
Now, that's just part of a much longer diatribe cataloging the reasons why Obama must go. Bill Whittle, is it possible that the far right and the far left share common cause in the removal of this man from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, I, for one, would like to welcome Dr. Strangelove to the ranks of the anti-Obama forces and like to remind him that as a trusted member of the media, I can be useful in rounding up other humans to work in his underground sugar caves. Any second now, this guy's going to lurch out of his chair and he's going to go, "Mein Führer, I can walk!" And that's going to be the end of the world right there. You don't know whether to laugh or cry. I'll laugh because anything that happens to help get this horrendous Marxist out of office is a good day for America, even if it's the remarks of an even bigger, even more horrendous Marxist who's coming out of that same festering hole of socialist bile called Harvard University. I really don't know where to start with this, Scotty. So I guess I'll just end with it. But seriously, this was the man that advised the President of the United States. This Dr. Strangelove guy, this guy is the guy who was the trusted advisor and intellectual mentor of the President of the United States. Just couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of fascists, could it, really?
Well, Stephen Green, Bill hinted at this. Is Professor Unger's rant scary or funny? And does it present an opportunity for what we call in the business Democrat voter suppression?
Well, it was certainly inevitable. You can't please these people. You give a progressive a regulation and he'll take a regulatory agency. That's why when you ask a progressive what's the upper limit on taxation, what's the upper limit on government control of people, they will never get specific because their goal is that perfect paradise where everything that isn't compulsory is forbidden. That's the progressive dream. So, what was it? Is it scary or funny? Yeah, it is. It's scary because we know what he wants, and it's funny that Obama, his star Marxist pupil, has so far failed to deliver on that. And you know what? Bill Ayers is a dead issue. The media suppressed it for so long that people think it's old news and they don't care. But this guy is fresh. We need to publicize him. We need to get him out there as best we can.
Well, Bill, is the professor's little mutiny indicative of a broader movement of disillusionment, or is this just an isolated incident?
Oh, no. They wish it was an isolated incident. It's a symbol of a very big, very broad problem that Barack Obama has, which makes me just radiantly joyful. He is utterly despised on the right. The middle left early and continues to flee in record numbers. And now you find that his far left base, you would think, let's just remember this. When he was elected, he was the most liberal member of the Senate in the country, may have been the most liberal member of the Senate in American history. And for this guy to be under attack from the left, which is his base, there's nothing else. Everything is to the right of this guy, you understand? So for the left to be attacking this guy as like being not ideologically true enough is telling me that his very base isn't isn't behind him. We'll talk about voter enthusiasm in my trifecta this week. But honestly, you got to think that if the progressives like Van Jones at Netroot Nation are basically saying, well, we're just going to have to hold our nose and vote for him one more time, I'm telling you, we're going to whip these Marxists out of their boots, Scotty.
Well, Stephen, Professor Unger wants to create an identity crisis in the Democrat Party by throwing this election and to force the party to fully embrace leftist progressivism. But didn't guys like Bill Clinton and Rahm Emanuel already win that argument by subordinating ideology to partisan power?
No, this guy won it. Bill Clinton dragged the National Party. He dragged it kicking and screaming into the 21st century. The rank and file, they loved that Clinton governed mostly as a moderate. The middle of the country loved him for it too. I think we forget that sometimes. But even if you go to a mainstream progressive site like Daily Kos, and if you search for DLC or Democratic Leadership Council, those were the Clinton moderates. The progressives hate the DLC, like the Antichrist. They loved Bill Clinton for winning elections, but they hated him for almost everything else that he did in the White House. And you know what? It took him 6 years. It took him 6 years from 2000 till 2006. But the progressives took the party back over from the DLC moderates. And you know what? That cost them the House in 2010. It's going to cost them the Senate this year, and it's probably going to cost them the White House too, because Americans hate progressives, and with very good reason.
Well, Professor Roberto Unger strove to direct the energies of his young Padawan, Barack Obama. During the 2008 campaign, he must have felt a thrilling assurance that his work had succeeded, and his revolutionary voice would soon resonate inside the Oval Office. But now, he sees President Obama as a cronied-up politician, kissing the ring of the moneyed interests, lacking the courage to command and control equal distribution of wealth, exchanging a progressive utopia for the tepid half measure of a health insurance reform fantasy. Obama has bartered away the glorious revolution for a handful of ordinary ambition. His old mentor got burned, stung like a lover spurned, ashamed like a confidant, betrayed by the apparition of intimacy. And now Professor Unger joins the legions on the left, left behind, drained of energy and tossed aside like old batteries in Barack Obama's junk drawer. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at pjtv.com, I'm Scott Ott.